on February 19th, 2013, after several guests complained about low water pressure and discolored tap water, a hotel maintenance worker went up to the rooftop to investigate and made a gruesome discovery. Inside one of the building's water tanks was the body of a young woman. That woman was Elisa Lam, a 21-year-old Canadian student who had mysteriously vanished weeks earlier. Officially, her death was ruled as an accidental drowning. However, the unlikely location and unsettling circumstances fueled doubts and speculation that continued to this day. This case captured international attention. Elisa Lam was a university student from Vancouver, traveling alone through California. She was last seen on January 31st, 2013, inside the elevator at the Cecil Hotel, where her bizarre behavior caught the world's attention. Shortly after her disappearance, her parents reported her missing to authorities. The elevator footage, released to the public on February 13th, quickly went viral and became a key piece of the mystery. But what followed the release of that footage was even more surreal. In the midst of the investigation, Elisa's body was discovered in the hotel's potable water system. What follows is a step-by-step presentation of the official facts of the case, avoiding unconfirmed theories so we can closely follow the investigation into this real-life enigma. January 26th, 2013. Elisa Lam arrives in Los Angeles, her first time alone in a big city. She checks into the infamous Cecil Hotel, also known as Stay on Main. But just days after she checks in, something's off. Hotel staff quietly move her from a shared room to a private one after guests report her acting strangely. January 31st. It's the last day anyone sees her alive. Hotel surveillance captures Elisa inside the elevator. She presses multiple buttons, hides in the corner, peeks out, steps in and out. It's as if she's hiding from someone. That very same day, her parents stop hearing from her. They call the LAPD. A missing persons case begins February 6th. The police escalate the search. Helicopters scan the rooftop. Search dogs comb through every hallway. Flyers flood the streets of downtown LA. But Elisa is nowhere to be found. February 13th, the LAPD takes a bold step. They release the elevator footage to the public. The internet explodes. Millions watch the strange, unsettling video, frame by frame. Some believe she was high, others say she was possessed. Theories spread like wildfire. February 19th, hotel guests complain, the water tastes weird. A maintenance worker climbs to the rooftop. He opens one of the 4 1,000-gallon tanks. Inside, floating in the dark, cold water, is Elisa Lam's lifeless body. That same water had been flowing to guest rooms, the hotel cafe, even a local coffee shop. February 21st, the autopsy is inconclusive. No obvious signs of trauma, no cause of death. Coroner Ed Winter calls it suspicious. Toxicology tests are ordered. Everyone wants answers. June 21st, 2013, the final report is released. No drugs, no alcohol, only her prescription medication. No bruises, no assault, no foul play. Official cause of death, accidental drowning. Contributing factor, bipolar disorder. According to authorities, Elisa entered the tank by herself and never came back out. Elisa Lam was born on April 30th, 1991, in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, to immigrant parents from Hong Kong. She was a student at the University of British Columbia, although she was not formally enrolled during the semester of her trip to California. Elisa was described by family and friends as intelligent, artistic, and introspective. She maintained an active presence on social media, particularly Tumblr, where she shared her thoughts, personal struggles, and interests, including fashion, literature, and mental health. Her online posts reveal a deep, sensitive personality, often reflecting her battle with bipolar disorder and depression, conditions she was known to be managing with prescribed medication. Before arriving in Los Angeles, Elisa had already traveled alone through San Diego, where she visited the zoo and posted cheerful photos online. Her family had been nervous about her traveling solo, given her medical condition, but Elisa made regular check-ins to reassure them. That is, until January 31st, when all contact stopped. The Cecil Hotel, rebranded in 2011 as Stay on Main, is located in downtown Los Angeles. Its history is both long and dark. Since its opening in 1927, the hotel has been linked to numerous violent incidents, unexplained deaths, and even ties to serial killers such as Richard Ramirez and Jack Unterweger, both of whom stayed there during their active periods. The surrounding area, Skid Row, is known for its high crime rate and dense homeless population. At the time Elisa checked in, the hotel was operating as a hybrid, part budget tourist hotel, part a long-term low-income housing. According to police and hotel staff, Elisa initially shared a room with 2 other young women. However, after complaints about her behavior, she was moved to a single occupancy room. One staff member later claimed she had exhibited odd and erratic behavior, but without further detail. This video remains the most infamous and widely analyzed piece of the case. In the footage, Elisa appears disoriented. She presses multiple buttons on the control panel and seems to hide in the corner. At times, she steps in and out of the elevator, peering down the hallway as if expecting someone. Her hands make strange, fluid movements, interpreted by some as gestures of fear or confusion. Several notable details fueled speculation. The elevator doors remain open far longer than normal, even though Elisa moves in and out multiple times. Her body language oscillates between playful and terrified, leaving viewers unsettled. At one point, she appears to be speaking or interacting with someone unseen just outside the camera's view. This video spread quickly across the internet and gave rise to countless theories, ranging from mental health episodes to paranormal explanations or even criminal involvement. However, investigators later stated that the footage may have been altered or time-stamped incorrectly, which led some to claim potential tampering. No official agency ever confirmed that manipulation occurred, but the inconsistencies remain a point of debate. After weeks of searching and growing public attention, on February 19, 2013, a hotel maintenance worker named Santiago Lopez discovered Elisa Lam's body in one of the 4 large water tanks on the rooftop of the Cecil Hotel. His discovery came after several guests had complained about low water pressure and an unusual taste in the tap water. Immediately, questions emerged. How did Elisa access the roof? And more importantly, how did she get into the tank? The roof of the hotel was supposed to be restricted. It had an alarmed door leading to a staircase, and access was typically locked. However, several urban explorers and YouTubers later documented that there were alternate ways to reach the rooftop, such as climbing the fire escape, which was accessible through hallway windows. There was no security camera pointing directly at the rooftop entrance. Once on the roof, Elisa would have encountered the 4 water tanks, each about 10 feet tall and 4 feet wide. The tanks were elevated on concrete blocks, and each had a heavy metal lid on top. According to hotel staff, these lids were normally closed, but not locked. Authorities stated that the lid was found open when her body was discovered. However, this conflicts with a statement later made by the same maintenance worker who said he had to open the lid to find her, a contradiction that has never been fully clarified. Adding to the mystery, the tanks were not full. This means Elisa would have had to either jump or lower herself in, and once inside, the smooth walls and water level would have made escape extremely difficult, even for someone fully alert and capable. Her clothes were found floating nearby inside the tank, along with her watch and room key card. Notably, she was not wearing them when discovered, which led to speculation about whether she removed them voluntarily or not. The official autopsy, released months after her death, stated that Elisa Lam died from accidental drowning, with bipolar disorder listed as a contributing factor. Toxicology tests showed no traces of illegal drugs or alcohol in her system. However, only some of her prescribed medications were found in detectable amounts, suggesting she may not have taken them as directed. There were no signs of trauma, assault, or foul play, according to the coroner, but several forensic experts and internet sleuths pointed out that some sections of the report appeared redacted, and key details, like time of death, were not conclusive. Critics of the accidental drowning theory argue that Elisa would have had to bypass multiple barriers to reach the tank. The lid being closed, as per some accounts, would be impossible for her to do from inside. Her state of mind may have been affected by missed doses, but not necessarily to the point of irrational action. Despite these questions, the LAPD closed the case with the official conclusion of accidental death, leaving the public to grapple with a mystery that still felt incomplete. The mystery surrounding Elisa Lam's death has given rise to countless theories, some grounded in psychology and human behavior, others veering into the strange and the supernatural. Let's begin with the most common explanations based on her mental health. 1. Psychological breakdown. Elisa Lam had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and was known to blog about her struggles. In the days leading up to her disappearance, she had reportedly been acting erratically, according to hotel staff. Some speculate that a manic or psychotic episode could explain her behavior in the elevator video and her access to the roof. This theory aligns with the toxicology findings, which suggested that she may not have taken all her prescribed medications at the time. Experts note that in severe cases of bipolar disorder, an individual can experience hallucinations or delusions, potentially leading to risky or disoriented behavior. Still, skeptics ask, would a mental health episode alone explain how she reached the rooftop and climbed into a tank with a heavy lid? There's no clear answer. 2. Foul play. Despite the lack of physical evidence pointing to criminal involvement, some have questioned whether Elisa might have been followed or coerced. Supporters of this theory often refer to the elevator video, where she appears to be hiding or speaking to someone off camera. The missing minute of footage in that video, which many believe was deliberately removed or corrupted. The open rooftop access, despite alarms supposedly being in place. The LAPD found no indication of another person being involved and closed the case accordingly. But online investigators remain unconvinced, pointing to inconsistencies and unanswered questions as reasons to doubt the official narrative. 3. Paranormal and urban legends. Due to the eerie nature of the case and the dark history of the Cecil Hotel, some have explored supernatural explanations. The hotel had long been associated with violent crimes, suicides, and serial killers. These eerie coincidences led some to believe that Elisa may have been influenced by a negative force or spirit. One viral theory linked her death to the 2002 horror film Dark Water, in which a girl is found dead in a rooftop tank, causing black water to leak through taps. The similarities are striking, but likely coincidental. Others even suggested a connection to a biological warfare test, as a tuberculosis outbreak happened in downtown Los Angeles during the search for Elisa. Strangely, the test used to detect TB at the time was called the Lam-Elisa test, an unsettling coincidence that fed conspiracy theories, though there's no evidence to support any connection. As images of the water tank and the infamous elevator video went viral, media outlets around the world picked up the story. Internet users became amateur detectives, dissecting every frame of the footage, analyzing timelines, and proposing theories. Some raised concerns that the case had become sensationalized, turning a real tragedy into a viral puzzle. Others felt that the public's obsession came from a genuine desire to find justice, or at least understanding. What remains undeniable is that the case struck a nerve globally. It was no longer just about Elisa Lam. It was about how a young woman could vanish in a crowded city and end up in such an improbable place. The death of Elisa Lam is officially classified as accidental. Yet the shadows surrounding her final days continue to stir doubt, curiosity, and unease. We may never know exactly what happened on that rooftop. Despite forensic reports, official timelines, and toxicology results, something about the case refuses to rest. The elevator footage continues to haunt viewers. The location, the Cecil Hotel, remains a symbol of darkness, and the silence left behind by Elisa's absence echoes louder than any explanation offered so far. Some believe the truth lies in plain sight. A mental health crisis, a tragic accident, and the consequences of untreated psychological distress. Others see gaps, missing footage, unanswered security questions, inconsistencies in witness accounts that suggest more happened than meets the eye. But maybe the most haunting part of this story is how a young woman traveling alone, seeking meaning and connection in a new city, was lost in the very place she hoped to find herself. We are left with fragments. A video of a girl in an elevator, moments of confusion, an entire building full of unanswered questions, and a name the world will never forget: Elisa Lam. Not every mystery gets solved, but every story deserves to be told.